Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Toka Monday night news stream. We are going to be talking about a whole bunch of TikTok news tonight. First thing that we want to talk about, though, is not strictly TikTok news. TikTok is distantly related, but the center of the issue is the larger entertainment industry. I want to talk about the IATSE strike because IATSE members have voted to go on strike. And we want to talk about what that means for everybody in the audience. Just gonna share the tab so you guys can see. There we go. So this is the strike announcement. We're just gonna go through this real quick. So 90% of eligible union voters cast ballots, with more than 98% of those voters voting in support of authorizing a strike. That's members of 36 local unions representing 60,000 workers from across the country. And this is the IATSE strike, if you haven't been following it, is about working conditions for the people who make film and theater happen. Basically, just like everybody who works on a film set who's not an actor or a writer, I think.
Pretty much, it's your PAs, your stagehands, it's anybody who's ever touched lighting equipment, people who actually make the show happen.
Yeah, and some of the big issues involved here are unreasonable working hours. There are people working 16-hour days, getting 10 hours off, then coming back to work another 16-hour day, or might have been 14 hours. I'm not sure. We have people in Toka who are members of the entertainment industry outside of social media who are like genuine experts on this topic and who really know what they're talking about. None of them are available for tonight's stream. So we're going to do our best. But please remember that if you hear me say anything and then you later hear Cecilia say something that contradicts what I said, Cecilia's right. Same goes for Max. But yeah, so one of the big issues, there have been a lot of PAs and other film workers like getting in car accidents because they fall asleep at the wheel on their way home. People getting injured or dying on film sets because they are operating dangerous equipment while dangerously sleep deprived. There are there are a lot of safety issues with the work demands being put on film and theater employees. There are also issues with pay. A lot of people in the industry, like PAs, aren't paid a living wage, which is unacceptable. Like if you need people to, it's just blanket unacceptable to hire somebody to do a thing and then not pay them enough that they can afford to like live because they're doing that thing. It's a really like basic math. Like if you can't afford to pay a person enough money that if they choose to do that thing, they are not fucking themselves by deciding to choose to do that thing and not something more profitable with that time, then you can't afford to hire people. Like that's
yeah. And a lot of this is also kind of compounded by the fact that most of the way that these people are getting paid right now does not adequately factor in shows that are for things like Apple TV or Netflix or any of these streaming services that aren't considered, TV or movies. So originally when those deals were struck, it was with the caveat that they would be revisited and kind of rebuilt out for a better pay scale to make sure that people were being adequately compensated. Unfortunately, when that time came and people came to the table, the producers decided that they did not want to pay people more. So they are simply basically denying that rework of the pay scale, which is just unconscionable, quite frankly. And then when you pair that with the fact that, like TX said, a lot of them are already being paid, sub-living wage. A lot of PAs get paid under the table. There's just a lot of really just, It's not okay.
So, TOCA obviously stands in solidarity with IATSE. We intend to do everything we can to support the strike. As audience members and content creators, what folks in our audience tonight can do. Background on a new TV show. One of the other backgrounds fell asleep at the wheel after working almost 15 hours and getting off at 5 a.m. She ran off the road. Her and her new car were fine, but she was terrified. The strike will benefit us all. Yeah. And that's the thing is like, particularly with the renegotiating new media contracts, people who just make like online content may not be directly affected by anything going on with the IATSE right now, but like this fight, it affects like our whole industry. This fight affects our ability to get paid for our labor. We want to stand in solidarity here because it's good for everyone in labor when companies aren't allowed to do whatever the fuck they want. So to my knowledge, nobody's calling for like content creators on places like YouTube or TikTok to stop making content, but we don't want to be replacing content. We don't want like
essentially just because, you know, TV, movies, Broadway, all of those things are probably going to be on pause for quite a while until this all gets sorted out. That does not mean that as internet creators, we see that as an opportunity to exponentially grow our own brands. Part of standing in solidarity is not taking advantage of the fact that these industries are not going to be operating. So yeah, you can do your normal content creation, but it's not a time to say, you know, up your content or branding or take brand deals that would otherwise not be going to you were this not happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one of the big things is like, don't take work that is coming to you because the strike is happening. That is scabbing. And apart from that, IATSE has a petition on this page. And you can, like, they're not just looking for IATSE members. You can sign this petition to add your voice to the call for negotiations and a fair deal for film and television workers. I have put the link to this petition at the top of the TOCA Beacons page, which I've just dropped in chat. So you can click through there and sign that petition if you would like to do something right now. Oh, thank you, Michael. And yes, the Facebook outage is next up on the list of things to talk about tonight. Yeah.
My guess is that we will probably have more information about the IATSE strike on our TikTok at some point. We do have a video up right now, kind of that was pre-strike and what to look out for. But as we get more information via what IATSE wants, and then also other unions that are going to be standing in solidarity, I'm sure we will be putting together another video kind of discussing what it's actually going to look like and what that means for TikTok creators.
Anomaly Bones, the petition does not say anything on it about being exclusive to the United States. However, it does ask for a zip code. That doesn't appear to be a mandatory field. So I believe you can sign it, and I don't believe that that is a dishonest thing to do if you are not signing from the United States. Oh, actually, hang on. There's a not in the U.S. button.
Yeah, I would imagine that they're knowing how much like U.S. is content is filmed in Canada, especially, but other places in the world as well. I know that there is room for that in the opposite direction, so I can't imagine that they would limit that.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine that there's people who maybe their home address is not within the states that are also a part of this group.
Right. And yeah, definitely a lot more to be said about this. Toka will have a lot more to say about this. We, the three of us right now, don't, I think. Again, we're not the experts. We are not the people in the film and television industry in Toka's administration. Unfortunately, those folks were not able to make it to the stream tonight. But we will be putting out content on the official Toka TikTok account. That is tiktok.com/@officialtoka. Because for some fucking reason, TikTok puts the @ in their URLs. But yeah, so
yeah, just keep an eye out. We will have more information eventually, and we will be kind of following it as things progress and putting out the new information as we get it. So.
And we will be telling you everything you can do to stand in solidarity with the striking members of the entertainment industry. So next up tonight,
the internet socials decided to just not be a thing.
Facebook died for a minute.
It was so funny because I woke up this morning and I got myself settled into work, and then like all day long people logged into work and were like, what happened to Facebook? What happened to Facebook? And I was like, what? Am I the only person who doesn't check Facebook anymore?
I appreciate that the people in my life and the people that I talk to on a regular basis, all of them recognized that the outage was happening, but nobody was upset about it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I think is probably the funniest, is that there was a time when Facebook was really like the social media app. And
yes.
if it went down, like, fuck it, what were you going to do? But now it's like it goes down and we're like, you know what? It might be nice to touch some grass.
Yeah.
To just like take a break.
There was an article
about it.
There was an article in, I think, 2017 about MySpace going down for a whole day.
Yes.
That article was written like months after it had happened, and it was just like, hey, we just noticed that MySpace was down for a whole day and no one cared.
Oh, goodness. I mean, the biggest reason that I can see that Facebook going down is bad is because they launched the whole marketplace thing. So there are people who are trying to run businesses to some degree or another, or just trying to do side hustle like garage sales online and whatnot. Those things, especially when they're time sensitive, that's a bit of a bigger deal than with MySpace, because I know that they do want to try to promote the music and such, but it's a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing that I
definitely like a bigger deal than MySpace. I'm not disputing that. Like we have multiple articles on the day that Facebook was out for a few hours.
Yes.
It is also a pretty big deal for a lot of people that Facebook handles authentication for a lot of websites. So anybody whose ability to log into any other website was based in their Facebook login couldn't get into any part of the internet. Because centralization is good, safe, and appropriate. And that is a smart way to organize the internet, a fundamentally distributed network, to have everything running through one building in New York.
Yeah.
I also, I don't know if it was because I've heard only rumors or whatnot too, but I also found it interesting that the way that I learned about that 60 Minutes interview that dropped this morning talking about some of the shadier side of what's going on in Facebook land, so many people associated the two events. Could be related, probably not, but like, oh my goodness.
It's likely. So here, the reality of the situation is the likelihood of the two being related is not as high as I think people want them to be. I think it's very easy to look at it and say, well, this happened, so clearly shady behavior. But in reality, like that's not really how the world usually works. Sometimes it does. I'm not saying it doesn't. But in reality, like the amount of things that went down because of this situation, that it's bad business. It doesn't benefit Facebook to do it to itself. At the end of the day, Mark Zuckerberg is having a very bad week. Potentially the week he deserves, but a bad week.
I apologize for interrupting a little bit and giggling about that so hard, but can you just imagine for like 2 freaking seconds, right? Like, man, you know what? Everybody's being so mean to me. Guess what? Bye-bye. And just, it's all just gone. Like, no sellout, no nothing, just deleted off the internet. Like, can you imagine? Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp just gone because he's like, you know what? Nah, I'm going to go take a spaceship to the moon instead.
I mean, honestly, it would be a much cheaper and easier way for him to launder his reputation than the Gates Foundation is. Like, just at some point in his life when he's got enough money and he's tired, just be like, I turned Facebook off. You're welcome.
Just hit the kill switch.
You're welcome.
Oh, man. We all need a break. We all need to reacquaint ourselves with the real world.
If I'm retiring, you're retiring.
Yeah, I wonder if he could. Like, I wonder if he can. Like, I'm thinking of when Justin McElroy tweeted, if I deleted the berries and cream sound, would this all just stop?
No.
And a bunch of people clarified that it wouldn't. And he, like, sort of sadly posted, I wasn't going to delete it, but I would have enjoyed knowing that I had that power.
I mean, my goodness, if you did that too, I swear to God, Billy Joel would come out to a third verse of We Didn't Start the Fire.
All right, so let's dig into this article because we should talk about what actually
the actual article.
Just as Facebook's Antigone Davis was live on CNBC defending the company over a whistleblower's accusations and its handling of research data suggesting that Instagram is harmful to teens, its entire network of services suddenly went offline. The outage started just before noon Eastern time and took nearly 6 hours before it was resolved. This is the worst outage for Facebook since a 2019 incident took its site offline for more than 24 hours, as the downtime hit hardest on small businesses and creators who rely on these services for their income. After failing all tests for most of the day, a test of ISP DNS servers via dnschecker.org showed most of them successfully finding a route to facebook.com at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. A few minutes later, we were able to start using Facebook and Instagram normally. However, it may take time for the DNS fixes to reach everyone. On Twitter, Facebook communications exec Andy Stone says, "We are aware that some people are having trouble accessing our apps and products. Some people. We're working to get things back to normal as quickly as possible, and we apologize for any inconvenience." Mark Schroepfer, who will step down from his post as CTO next year, tweeted, "We are experiencing network issues, and teams are working as fast as possible to debug and restore as fast as possible." What? You're experiencing network issues and teams are working as fast as possible to debug and restore as fast as possible.
I parsed that as, tell me that you understand the technology that you are a CTO of. That's digestible for like people who don't know what they're talking about. So it's.
I just saw an adult corporate officer use the phrase "as fast as possible"
twice
in 2 immediately successive clauses within the same sentence, and I thought I was having a stroke.
No. Yeah, no, it's just sometimes the redundancy is necessary.
In this conversation, and I'm just being a language snob.
No, you're not, because that is as an editor the first thing that will like make me curse out loud while editing something.
Yeah, Mike, you're all like.
I can't.
You offered it like as a human.
Micah, we're both professional copywriters. Like you can't absolve me of the skill.
Professional
we're
word
kind
snobs.
of pretentious.
We are professional word snobs. You're not wrong. Oh man,
it's just like
you're a linguist.
Again, I don't disagree, but knowing how many boomers are on Facebook anymore in the kindest way possible, you have to say those kinds of things twice sometimes. Believe me, I am not actually defending them, but I have a feeling, unless they are like me and they just fully ADHD went like, did I say that? Never mind, send. Like,
yeah, I mean, that's just like normal human speech. Somebody didn't edit their tweet before hitting send. And on a stressful day, like the whole website ceasing to work for the chief technology officer, I can imagine like having a level of urgency that causes you to not catch that, which is why I feel like I'm being a dick.
Yeah.
It's very bad writing, but there's no defensible reason to think it should have been better.
Yeah, that's true. It's also one of those things where, like, I was reading an explanation that someone gave that was like really, really good, and it was essentially it's not that the website disappeared or wasn't working. It's that the map that you use to get to the website,
yes,
someone lit it on fire.
Yes.
And all of the people who knew about who wrote the map weren't there that day.
I think that might have been Patty the Panda's video on that.
It wasn't a video that I was watching.
That's right.
Someone found it and sent me, I think, a tweet.
All right, so inside Facebook, the outage has broken nearly all of the internal systems employees use to communicate and work. Several employees told The Verge they resorted to talking through their work-provided Outlook email accounts, though employees can't receive emails from external addresses. Employees who were logged into work tools such as Google Docs and Zoom before the outage can still use those, but any employee who needs to log in with their work email was blocked. Facebook engineers have been sent by the company's U.S. data centers to try and fix the problem, according to two people familiar with the situation. That meant that the outage, already Facebook's most severe in years, could be further prolonged. There's the fastest possible tweet.
I'm so glad he used the asterisks and not the quotes for sincere.
A peek at Down Detector on your Twitter feed reveals the problems were widespread. While it's unclear exactly why the platforms were unreachable for so many people, their DNS records show that, like last week's Slack outage, the problem is apparently DNS. It's always DNS. Did you guys know there was a Slack outage?
No, but I know there was a Teams outage the other day because my Teams wasn't working.
Cloudflare Senior Vice President Dane Knecht notes that Facebook's Border Gateway Protocol routes, BGP, helps networks pick the best path to deliver internet traffic. Were suddenly withdrawn from the internet. While some have speculated about hackers or an internal protest over last night's whistleblower report, there isn't any information yet to suggest anything malicious is to blame. Instagram.com was flashing a 5xx server error message, while the Facebook site merely told us something went wrong. The problem also affected its virtual reality arm, Oculus. Users could load games they already had installed, and the browser works, but social features or installing new games didn't. All right, so that is the news on the Facebook outage.
And then we heard also, I think, that like a couple of the other chat programs like Snapchat were like struggling a little bit today, and I would imagine it's because they probably had a lot more traffic due to Facebook and everything else being.
I mean, if there was Snapchat chat struggle, I didn't notice it, and I'm on Snapchat more than any other app. So make of that what you will. But I do know that TikTok had a glitch at some point today because I caught it as it was happening, which, again, I'm guessing their servers were just overloaded because everybody was probably looking for something to do.
On my breaks today, too, I hopped on and I was pinged in a couple of videos just to watch stuff, and everybody left a little comment. Please tag me when Facebook's back. I was like, oh, sorry.
So next up, the next thing I have on my list is the TikTok selling NFTs, which I do want to get to, but we briefly touched on conspiracy theories a little bit in the Facebook talk, and that makes me want to jump over to this article. Starburst doubles down on a little ad with TikTok contest. I want to talk about this because I've been seeing a rumor going around that Starburst planned the whole little lad meme. And particularly Left at London has been making videos about it, and a lot of people have been. I kind of think she's fucking with people, but I think a lot of people are taking her seriously. And Starburst announced that something big was coming in the next couple days, and a lot of people concluded from that they're re-releasing Berries and Cream Starburst, which would have had to take months of ramp up and would suggest that they had deliberately seeded this trend. That's not what happened. That's not what they announced. What they announced was they're holding a contest where if you make Berries and Cream Little Lad videos tagged sweepstakes, I think, you can be entered in a chance to win a Little Lad costume. That's the whole story. I want to get this out here to make it very clear that Starburst is not in control and does not know what they're doing. They just pulled together the first thing they could think of to attempt to capitalize on their 2007 ad being suddenly popular in the year of our Lord 2021.
Which I think is especially illustrated by the fact that the sweepstakes is for a little lad costume. What, like, who is there just like a really high demand for that? Is that not something you can pull together on your own for probably like less time and effort?
I'm fairly confident that anything you can pull together on your own is going to wind up looking better than what Starburst will send you.
This makes me think of that, why go and buy a $5 item when you can spend, $78 on time and materials to make it yourself? It's really got that same vibe. It also really very much makes me think of that meme that was going around a while ago of a truck with flames painted on the side that was on fire saying life imitating art, imitating life. I'm not mad at this because honestly, I'm still not tired of Berries and Cream TikTok. I'm really not specifically asking for more Berries and Cream content, but I'm still not tired of it.
I'm begging for it to stop.
So
I've had enough. I am weary. Okay.
I still am more
Ibrahim,
have been more
what
on
do you mean by this is a real historically inspired outfit? Like, it's definitely real clothes that dude just like had access to.
Like historically inspired by the 2000 and whatever year it was commercial? Because sure.
Yeah.
Or do you mean like a little Victorian boy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think it's just like historically inspired in the sense that this is a little Victorian boy costume.
Yeah.
Yeah. 7. Oh,
wait, I'm sorry. What? You can block sounds on TikTok now?
Since when?
That's been a thing forever. If you press and hold the video and say not interested, then it gives you 2 options. Not interested, hide videos from this user, or not interested, hide videos with this sound.
I do not have that capability.
What device what do you use? I've got an Android.
I have a Google Pixel, so it's an Android.
What?
I do not have that capability because I hit the uninterested button so goddamn much.
We will be looking into this. It sounds like potentially one of those features that may just.
I've had this since like 2019.
I am currently using my phone to live stream to TikTok, so I'm not going to be checking at the moment.
That's okay.
I also don't tend to use the not interested function because I suspect that they take it to mean this is content you will engage with. I
broke my everything. Oh well.
All right, so that was everything that I wanted to cover with the little lad. I just wanted to establish for the record that there continues to be no evidence that Starburst, Wrigley's, or Mars know what they're doing.
They just know that when an opportunity arises, it's their job to jump on it.
Yeah.
Yes, it may not have been our idea, but let's go ahead and do it. Just like Oreo Cakesters bringing it back because S. Johnson voiceovers was like, I am throwing down.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys are on Oreo drama TikTok, but it's been pretty fantastic.
Listen, the snacks that some people like are ride or die about are not my ride or die snacks.
Yeah, well, and not to diverge too much from
Like,
more
I'm super
relevant
happy to get berries
discussion,
and
but
cream sounds. I do want to start blocking every sound I get. Where the first video I get is just how are there not more sounds under this? How are there not more videos under this sound?
Yes, yeah, and again, it's hard to do that because there's a new one every week, it seems. But one of S. Johnson voiceovers, like regular things to do, is, and they took it away from us. Like it's this whole series that he does about either like foods or
I've seen
snacks
it.
or whatever. Yeah, just in case anybody else isn't aware of it. But Oreo Cakesters is one of the big ones, and he keeps talking about that. That and starting discourse over, do you put cereal in the bowl first or milk in the bowl first? He likes to start arguments about that.
Listen, I am not a sociopath, so I put the cereal in first. You got to put the dries in before you wet them, because you got to wet your dry.
I saw a video a while ago that I really enjoyed that asked, do you put the cereal in the bowl and then the milk and then the dice? Or do you put the dice in first and then the milk and then the cereal?
Dice?
Yeah, like D&D dice.
I have not reached the elite level to consume dice.
Oh, you're not on people eating their own dice TikTok?
I just remember there was a duet of someone spitting dice into someone else's mouth that was going around. And that's what started it for me.
I get so much content that is just about eating dice.
Yeah. You've never just like looked at a D20 and been like, that looks like it would be a delicious gusher.
Well, not from
Willy Wonka's everlasting gobstoppers could
I'm
never.
not saying that I've put a dice in my mouth before because I needed to texturally feel it, but I'm not saying that I haven't put a D20 in my mouth before for that very same reason. Because it does have that pleasing like mouth no.
Yes, like
what is it? Like the gumball, like gumballs and the like the gumball sized round
everlasting gobstoppers. Jawbreakers.
Yes, Jawbreakers, everlasting gobstoppers, and that really gross bubble gum that you can find in like you put a quarter in and you turn it, but they're always like, about the size of a golf ball.
A gumball?
Oh my God, yes, thank you. I'm sorry. Every once in a while.
It's the word you're searching for the ball of gum. A gumball?
Like I'm mostly human some days, and certain times there are just words that just nope. But this also makes me think of, I wish I could. I think they were called like splashers or something. There was a thing in the 90s, 2000s to have a whole can of these little gumballs, but when you put them in your mouth, they saturated the color on them so much, so you would eat this one piece of gum and you'd be like drooling color out for days. I swear.
I thought you were going to be talking about that prank gum that was around when I was a kid. That when you started to chew it, it fully liquefied.
Yeah. Oh God.
Where the hell was I during everybody else's childhood?
Well, for me, I'm old.
Did you not have like a pranks and magic tricks store in your town?
No, I've never heard that.
I used to go to that. I can't remember what that store was called, but we had a store in our town that was just pranks, and it was so good. I spent so much time there as a child.
The closest that we had in the city that I grew up in was a JT Puffins, where they had a few magic tricks in there, but nothing like that.
See, we didn't have a magic shop. We were like we had a Magic the Gathering shop, but we didn't have a magic trick shop.
See, and that's like,
they had a whole section.
Like I knew that like live theater was a thing growing up too, but I didn't understand because I had only been subjected to ballet. Because nobody in my family or my immediate circle would like ever go to the theater to watch like live stuff. So it was like that or musicals. So I was like, okay, so I'm being dragged to ballets that I do not enjoy. Some of the music I enjoy, but that's it. Ballets are just, oh God. Yeah, take it. My torture as a child is I was forced to sit through the Nutcracker before the age of 10 3 times.
Yeah, I did that.
If I have to do this again, Oh my God. Like, I can't. Like, there's lots of great music in it, but ADHD, unmedicated 3 times.
Ballet absolutely is the heavy metal of dance. You're not wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, no, I take that back. I feel like modern jazz and tap is the heavy metal because there's just noise wise.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, sorry.
To move on to the next TikTok related news topic. Do you guys want to see how TikTok is being terrible and ruining everything?
Always.
Great. Let's talk about TikTok selling NFTs.
Did you just say what I think you just said?
I
Yeah.
did say what you think I just said. Now,
I
it's
just-
somewhat unclear from the way these articles are written whether TikTok is involved or whether it's just a bunch of TikTok celebrities. I think TikTok is helping.
I love how
This
they say
worries
flirting.
me because it feels like people are just going to start selling individual TikToks as NFTs.
Oh, do you not remember Hank's video when he asked if he could do that? When he asked if he
I
could buy
remember it, and then I remember like viscerally being like, Hank, don't you fucking dare. Don't bring this fresh hell upon the world. There is enough going on.
He's like, but too late. We knew.
I mean,
it
like,
was
I get
coming
what he
anyway.
was saying. Like, there's something nice about the idea of being able to, like, collect things and to give people money for their hard work. I think that what he should do is just decide on an amount of money that he wants to spend on TikToks and just make a donation and save the receipt
Mhm.
alongside a file somewhere.
Yeah.
I just don't understand NFTs as like a thing anyone would be interested in.
Well, it's really like the basic idea of NFTs is pretty elegant, really. It's like you take money, which is like the function of money is to be the maximally fungible material. Like it's the thing that can be most freely exchanged for other things or other copies of itself. And then you remove that quality. And that's
Again,
good. I
don't understand the draw.
How great would it
It's
be
like
if every single dollar bill you had could not be exchanged for a different dollar bill? Like it has its own independent value that is not related to other dollar bills.
So you're saying like when they untether the dollar bill from the gold standard?
No, because dollars are still fungible. You can still like, if I borrow $1 from you, you do not expect me to return that same piece of paper. You just expect me to give you $1's worth of currency at some point.
Yes. Like I can hand you 4 quarters and it won't fucking matter.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll be mad at me, but yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I like coins. I'm a goblin.
I do too. I unearthed my coin collection when I moved, and I'm like, I need to touch this all again, but not now. I have to focus.
I just like again, I think that NFTs are just something that my brain personally is never gonna be like, oh yeah, that's a cool thing. Because I just quite frankly find it relatively useless.
Yeah, you're not failing to wrap your head around something. They are stupid.
No, I know, but I just like.
Is it a cryptocurrency? But it's not a cryptocurrency, right?
It's cryptocurrency, but it's like
in a different typeface.
It's cryptocurrency that you can't really trade back.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it is. It's writing into the blockchain a unit of cryptocurrency that is not fungible, that cannot be exchanged for other cryptocurrency freely. So it's taking a cryptocurrency, which is already a terrible idea, and making part of it not work. It is what NFTs are.
Oh my god!
Again, I want to put on everyone's radar in case they don't know, to show you like just the weird things that people make NFTs out of. Lindsay Lohan is apparently a furry and unveiled her persona, which she is now selling as an NFT.
No.
I wish I could make these things up.
Jesus.
I do want to say for the record, we say like making things into NFTs. That's not what happens. When you make an NFT, you are not making a thing into an NFT. You are just making an NFT and saying out loud, this NFT refers to that thing.
Yes.
Like there's no actual material relationship between an NFT and the object it claims to represent.
Okay, I don't want to Google it because I
I
don't want
can't
it to keep
figure out
coming up
exactly
with,
how
like,
much you're annoyed at having to pretend to be one of those weird, creepy NFT bros right now.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm really enjoying making fun of NFTs. They're very stupid and I hate them a lot.
and again, I'm sorry because I don't really want to Google it. Is it like for Lindsay Lohan? And this is the only question that I would have. I just need to know, like, on a scale of, like, maybe she's got some fan art out there somewhere, to like head to toe fursuit. Like, where is she supposed to be on the scale there?
There is definitely art.
Unknown is valid.
That is the NFT. It does not have ears. It's a dog.
Okay.
But it doesn't have ears. I hate it. Also, yeah, apparently the thing that she's a part of in the fur, I apologize to the furries out there. I don't know how to refer to your community. See, it has no ears.
Mm-hmm.
It has no ears.
That's okay. I agree. It's a bit weird.
It's also giving me like very I don't know if it's just me, but because of the suit that it's wearing, it's giving me like if you turned Scully into a dog.
Yes.
Vibe. Like giving me Scully from.
That's enough of that. Rolling Stone can't be trusted.
I love when we get. But yeah, I guess the community that Lindsay's a part of, I guess, is like very much sketchy and racist.
Have you ever heard about that though? There's an entire furry convention that got shut down because it was taken over by neo-Nazis.
I am not a furry, and I am also not furry adjacent.
Okay.
It is not a community that I have. It is not a community that I have a whole lot of knowledge about. It is a knowledge gap for me.
The furry community is the only fandom that has successfully fought off an attempted fascist incursion into the community.
Good. That's great.
Yeah, I have nothing but respect for furries.
Yep.
They're the only fandom that have their shit together.
Yep.
I will listen. I can respect that.
Fascist movement in fur communities, and they were just like hardcore shut out.
Not in our house.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, back to TikTok's NFTs. The NFT space has had quite a year, and while it can be difficult to separate the billions of dollars in crypto speculation from the potential infrastructure shifts, plenty of mainstream tech companies are dipping their toes into the space and signaling future interest. This time, it's TikTok's turn. The fast-growing social media platform, which just crossed 1 billion monthly users worldwide, has lined up its own NFT drop, leveraging content from some of its top creators, including Lil Nas X, Grimes, Bella Poarch, Rudy Willingham, and Gary Vaynerchuk. This release of one-of-one and limited edition NFTs seems to be focused on generating buzz among the existing NFT community rather than exposing users inside the app to non-fungible tokens. The company is sidestepping blockchain energy concerns by placing their NFTs on a dedicated site powered by Immutable X, a layer 2 scaling solution for Ethereum, which says that NFTs traded using it are 100% carbon neutral. The drop starts October 6th with a collection from Lil Nas X and will continue through the end of the month. Why is TikTok getting into the world of NFTs to begin with? TikTok has a fairly precise answer for that on its drop site. Inspired by the creativity and innovation of the TikTok creator community, TikTok is exploring the world of NFTs as a new creator empowerment tool. NFTs are a new way for creators to be recognized and rewarded for their content, and for fans to own culturally significant moments on TikTok. The creation that happens on TikTok helps drive culture and starts trends that impact society. TikTok will bring something unique and groundbreaking to the NFT landscape by curating some of these cultural milestones and pairing them with prominent NFT artists.
again, like it's on point, but it's like just a little bit tangential. This is like what, the third or fourth project where they're putting their name out there. They're like, we're going to be amazing, and it's just kind of like, are you sure?
I'm going to be honest with you. This is one of those times where I look at a company and I look at the decisions it makes and what it decides to focus on, and I go, so are we just going to like keep flashing a light on stage left so that people ignore the pile of garbage that you refuse to clean up on stage right? Because that's what it feels like.
Yes, exactly. That's an even better way to explain what was on my mind, because it's like, again, there's so much stuff that they should honestly be doing, like transparency, and instead they're like, oh no, we're too busy with new projects. Oh look, I just found a new project.
I don't know. It's one of those things where like I recognize that companies have oodles of cash and can do many things at once. And just like people can think about multiple things at once, companies are allowed to do many things at once. But when you're not doing any of your base things well, and you're being called out often about not doing any of your base things well, the fact that it's like you're not investing any effort into correcting the actual product that built your company up.
I mean, I think what they're doing makes sense from a business perspective because they're trying to attract an audience of people who don't care about whether technology works or makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just hate it. Well, yeah, Michael, yes, because if we dangle NFTs in the public and they don't look too closely at the app, then they won't recognize that the app is held together with chewing gum and a prayer.
It's 3 social medias and a trench coat.
It is. It really is.
All right, this next one's probably going to be our last article for the night. TikTok settles lawsuit with actors over the original text-to-speech voice.
Oh, I've been interested in how that goes. Okay.
I didn't get to read up on this.
TikTok has agreed to settle a lawsuit with Bev Standing, the voice actress who said she was behind the app's original text-to-speech voice. Standing sued TikTok in May, saying that the app was using her voice without permission. A robotic version of what sounded like Standing's voice had been in the app for months, speaking over what felt like every other video at the time. A lawyer for Standing said the settlement was still being finalized and details around payment could not be disclosed. They've reached an amicable resolution. Robert.
Sycophilia.
That sounds like it doesn't account for the letters there. Are you using a pronunciation system I'm not familiar with?
I'm winging it.
Okay.
It's one of those. Yeah, the half of the last name is silent.
Scagliampaglia, thank you. Robert Scagliampaglia, who represents Standing, said in a phone call with The Verge. Scagliampaglia said that TikTok would license Standing's voice as part of the agreement, but it's up to TikTok whether or not to use it. TikTok did not immediately respond to a request for comment. It sounds as though some strange mix-up led to Standing's voice being used by TikTok in the first place. Standing said that she made recordings for a text-to-speech feature several years ago, but that they were meant to be used for translations of Chinese texts. No one else was supposed to be able to use them. But somehow her voice seems to have made its way to TikTok, where it became a near ubiquitous presence. No matter what I do, I believe this is going to affect my business, Standing told The Telegraph at the time. TikTok never confirmed it used Standing's voice, but the feature sure sounded like her. About 2 weeks after the lawsuit was filed, TikTok's text-to-speech voice changed. Instead of Standing's odd monotone recording, it changed to a voice that's relentlessly upbeat. TikTok kept the copyright on it.
Listen, sometimes you just need a little ooh in your life.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like, see, I appreciate
the
this
shade
update,
in this
but I'm still angry because the piece that I want to know most still is not yet revealed.
Which is?
Why is she specifically suing TikTok I mean, I understand why she's suing TikTok, but if TikTok did not know that that Chinese Media Institute company sold this woman's voice to them without her knowledge, why are they not the ones coming up in the article more? Like, they were not mentioned in here once from what I see. I still want to understand what the heck their position is. Why did they do this? Like, what was the contract between I forgot her name again already, and that company who then
Bev
sold her
Standing.
voice off to them? Thank you, Bev.
The issue with that position is that TikTok has not conceded to the position that they were using Bev's voice.
Correct.
So we can't see anything about like by what agreement they arrived
Yeah.
at the files that correspond to Bev's voice. So like they're presumably not admitting whether they even got files from the company that Bev sold the voice to.
Typically,
Makes a little bit sense.
typically, if a company is settling like this, the exchange for whatever amount of money this woman gets is TikTok never having to admit to wrongdoing.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
So
I still think it's a little bit weird though too, because if they because again, to push the blame off, it's like, again, if they were never made aware, because if they bought it from that company and they did not ask questions about, well, whose voice is this? Is this real? Is it computer generated? Whatever. How is the onus not on them in this whole situation? Why aren't they the ones agreeing to the payout, not TikTok?
I'm gonna guess
That's
the
the
thing
thing
that
that still
money
blows
is
my mind.
TikTok.
Yeah. There's that too.
there's also no knowing if they took it from something that was considered open source.
Yeah. Which again, that's the part that I'm still wanting to wrap my head around, because it just doesn't make sense to me that
So the reason that you would go after TikTok is because, legally speaking, you go after whoever is actually using whatever it is you consider to be your intellectual property or your property in general, right?
But also consider
So-
the line, no matter what I do, I believe this is going to affect my business.
Yeah.
Arguably, this is a fucking gigantic ad.
see, and that's the other part about this that I'm just like,
Well, so the issue
'cause
was,
I do
we
recall
talked
that
about
she
this in a
was
previous in
Mhm.
a previous article about why this was a problem, because people on TikTok were using her voice to say all manner of
Curse
shit,
words. Mhm.
all manner of things that she did not feel to be within her brand, and she
Mhm.
thought would then taint the ability to sell her voice, because brands aren't going to want to be associated with that.
Mhm.
And that makes sense. Like, I will never not have the movie phone guy's voice playing in my head saying the times for because of Winn-Dixie, which was what, 2001?
Mhm.
And I do also want to say, just to be clear, when I say that I think that part of the reason that Bev went after TikTok rather than the other company might be that it's a better ad for her professionally for TikTok to be the news story. That is not a condemnation of Bev. I think that she's doing
Right.
what she needs to do to survive as a creative professional, and
Yeah.
I support that.
Yeah, again, like, I'm not mad at her for any of this. Like, that's totally fine with that, but I just think that the politicking of why is TikTok responsible, or hasn't addressed that issue of how it's coming to the idea that they will be responsible for this rather than the third party in between person
So, I mean,
that was
like,
actually
I think
responsible.
ultimately it comes down to two people can have done wrong things. Like,
Yes.
if the other company fraudulently sold the files,
Mhm.
that doesn't mean that TikTok didn't use the files, and TikTok will still have been doing an illegal thing when they implemented those files. Like, the fact that other crimes also exist in this sequence of events doesn't mean that TikTok didn't commit a crime.
Correct.
Yes. Okay. I feel much more sated with it.
And like,
Mhm.
the fact that TikTok was using a voice that they cannot unambiguously prove they absolutely had permission to use,
Yeah.
Mhm.
just like that on its own is like demonstration that they did not do the due diligence that they are like obliged to do as a media company.
Yep.
Like, in the same way that it's not like, it wouldn't be a legal defense of like theft of an image to
Mhm.
like use an image on the cover of your book and say and defend it with, well, I didn't know that it belonged to photographer. It just came up in Google. Like that's not, you're not allowed to do that. You can't just like use any image you find in Google for like professional media production. And that itself, that is how they went about acquiring the files, is wrongdoing.
But all right, I would like to remind everybody that what is not wrongdoing is if you have the means and the want, you can actually support the work that we do at Toka by becoming a patron on our Patreon. We do have quite a few different levels of support that you can give. That way you can choose
revenue or income.
Yep. So that way you can choose what's right for you, because nobody should be giving if they don't have the means to do so. And if you don't, but you'd still like to support us, you can share our content and just generally talk about us. Let your friends know that we exist, because the more people who are aware, the more work we can do. So.
And if you want some examples of some of the things we're doing with the money, we're currently in the process of revamping our website. We're going to be putting up a bunch of data and projects there, so it'll be much easier to easily peruse the larger body of information we've aggregated as an organization. We pay creators who come and guest on our live streams. So we've been able to have a few creators on and pay them for their time, which we're really grateful to be able to do. We're also working with the University of Arizona, or Arizona State University. My brain is just like not handling the correct sequence of those words.
ASU. We're partnering with ASU to do some talks with them.
And we are going to be paying the creators who speak in those talks. So those are the kinds of things that the money goes towards. And they go towards expanding our ability to keep doing the things we're doing and to do more things that we want to be able to do, but that cost money. So yeah, everything helps. Please check out the Patreon. I linked it in chat. And Michael also dropped the link to our Discord in chat. If you want to jump in there, if you're not already, the Online Creators Association Discord is where a lot of the resources we have available are currently organized. You can jump in there as either a content creator if you have over 1,000 followers on TikTok, or as an accomplice if you just want to be in the loop and get involved. And I believe that's everything. Once again, we are standing in solidarity with the IATSE workers who voted today to strike. Cancel your streaming subscriptions. Don't watch new movies. Don't watch TV. Read a book. Don't cross picket lines.
Yep.
Thank you, everyone, for coming, and have a great night. Bye.